Folks, social media censors still in overdrive. They're not worried about fake news or hate speech, but those calling those kinds of things out. Look at what happened when I flagged a disturbing debate on Reddit among trans people over whether they should commit mass suicide or mass genocide to raise awareness to their cause. See, I oppose suicide, having been impacted by it, so I called it out. X, formerly known as Twitter, called me hateful for opposing suicide. They shadow banned my post. I posted the same article on Truth Social. It's still up there right now. For more, let's bring in former Congressman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, Devin Nunes. Congressman, good to see you. The shadow banning was instantaneous. What does this tell you about the X algorithm, and why didn't Truth Social silence my condemnation of suicide?
Well, first off, Chris, I had no idea you were still on Twitter. You didn't tell me that. I'm really shocked to know that. I thought you were with Truth Social, 100%, all for it. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But
Here we go.
Look, here's the deal. This is the problem with all of these other big tech companies, and the problem that even Elon Musk has, which, by the way, President Trump and I were very supportive of the platform. It was better than some of the lunatics running it than were running it. But in order to, the amount that he paid for it, he's lost a lot of money at it. He needs to keep advertisers, and he's having a tough time. So they force him to put in the regulators. I mean, even the community notes, the shadow banning. And look, it's ridiculous. I mean, what you're pointing out there is the hypocrisy, and also people were actually endangering their lives, as I understand it, in that chat room. So, look, here at Truth Social, we don't tolerate anything illegal, but we allow for free speech. And I think the other companies are just going to have a tough time handling it, which is why the left is so outraged that Truth Social is now merged, and we're a company with no debt, $200 million in the bank, and the fake news media just can't handle it because I don't think they can handle the truth.
I just got to tell you, man, that I getting on my social media account and condemning suicide, that's deemed hateful. And I guess by inference, you can say that X thinks that suicide is great. I don't know what to make of this shadow banning. Anyway, amid all of this, the left is like still better than Trump, despite unprecedented carnage under Joe Biden, the economy, the border, multiple wars, 13 dead service members in Afghanistan, threats of nuclear war, economic catastrophe on a daily basis. The New Yorker writes this, quote, "So too is the political amnesia powering the increasingly absurd arguments from Trump and his enablers about how he'd better handle everything from Israel and Ukraine to the border. Forgetting Trump's own memory lapses and those of the broader electorate is one of the former president's political superpowers." What do you make of the New Yorker's contention that all the disasters we have endured under Joe Biden still better than Trump, they claim?
Well, look, you have to start with that 95% of the media is not media. They're propagandists for the left. And then what they had, the stranglehold that they had by owning all of the big technology out there until Truth Social came along with Rumble, until that happened, they had it made, Chris, because unless you watched Newsmax or read a few of the conservative outlets, remember it's literally 95-5. And I guarantee you it's still that way today. A lot of these are funded. These news organizations are funded by billionaires who hate Trump, who are big donors against Trump. And that's why we exist. Truth Social exists in order for people to get their message out. And by the way, that doesn't mean that we're only for conservatives. I mean, we have Joe Biden came on our platform. Gavin Newsom came on our platform. But we're the place that actually doesn't rely on big tech in order to make sure that people have their rights to free speech. And that's what you're seeing. You're going to continue to see this propaganda where they continue to just day by day attack Trump. I mean, I haven't read the story. I just read the headline there, but I don't try to poison my mind every morning by reading these stories. But that story in particular, I mean, how anyone could even, the Israeli issue, are you serious? I mean, I spent many years. But I spent many years dealing with the folks in the Middle East, Chris. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. And it wasn't until Donald Trump came around and they said, "Oh, you can't move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. That's going to cause all these problems. Did it happen? No, it didn't happen. What happened? He got Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, people who hadn't talked for generations
Yes.
to get to the table.
And then
it's one of President Trump's most major milestones that nobody was able to get done.
Exactly.
He did it. So why somebody would be criticizing, you got to be drinking early in the morning to be able to write something like that, or smoking something, probably smoking something and drinking early in the morning.
Say exactly. You know what? Yeah, and peace breaking out in the Middle East, courtesy of Trump. Devin Nunes, always great to catch up with you, sir. We'll talk to you next week.